What's going on, everyone? This is L Trades, and today I'm going to do a market update because a lot is going on, and it's very important that I know and you guys know what's most likely to happen in crypto and the world market, so you don't make any crazy mistakes if you haven't already done so, and we can pursue the truth the best we can. So basically, let's just jump in. BTC, horrible week. We know why, mostly because of the FTX stuff, FTX shenanigans. If you don't know, if you don't spend 24 hours a day on Twitter like me, you might not know, but FTX is proven to be insolvent and so bad to the point where most people, or a lot of people, cannot withdraw their funds. Many can still trade, many can even still deposit, which is strange, but they cannot withdraw their funds in many cases. This is pretty insane because it is a company, or it is an exchange that was one of the biggest exchanges, in some cases second only to Binance in volume. And there's a lot of fears that something like this can start a huge contagion that can catch on and create much worse side effects in the markets as we go on. But the best we could do is we can look at the charts, because the charts tell us the story. And even with all the noise of the macro and the FTX stuff, we can still rely on the charts. So let's look at it like this. BTC has cut the strong weekly support, the 2018 support. It bounced in it once, it tried to bounce it in again, it had bullish div, and then with the FTX stuff, it actually cut it. Now we could say it's because of the FTX stuff, but at the end of the day, if you're a trader, you just look at the lower high. That's not great, right? So until we at least made a higher high, which I've said previously, I wasn't too certain about it, or at least break the 200 week and 200 day. Now it's cut the support, and if it closes the weekly here in 2 days under this support, we can assume, if nothing goes too crazy, that the next target will be the next support around 13, 14K, something like that. That's just what the next weekly support is. There are like some supports as well, like strong supports under there from 2018, but we'll get to that if we have to get to that. Something pretty confusing that we have to note is there is still bullish divergence and the momentum is still positive, though it is waning. Now, it's kind of important to think about that, because let's say the FTX Black Swan event was kind of such an outlier that we just happened to maybe close the weekly or maybe pump so hard with the rest of the world markets that BTC gets above this 2018 support, and then we reconfirm this bullish divergence above this support, and then we might be able to start saying this could be another logical local bottom, or maybe a macro bottom. So I guess the biggest point to take away from this is there's not really many trades, though of course you can justify, if the weekly closes around here, you can start justifying shorts. That is up to you. I can just give you the data. Now, if we see this, another update is that the CPI was, I think, 7.2%, which is very good news. Is lower than expected, and it keeps being lower, every time it's announced, which is good evidence that inflation has peaked. That's always good. And many people will tell you, if inflation has peaked and it's only going to get better from here, then why shouldn't the markets? Well, I guess that's an okay argument, but you have to realize that timing that specific thing is extremely hard. For example, inflation could have peaked and you only see the lagging result to it in a couple of months, maybe in a year or so. Meaning the SPX can turn dump, and even though the macro stuff is getting better. By the way, the macro stuff is still bad. There's a long way to go. Anyway, so SPX, pretty interesting stuff. Huge daily candle on the CPI news. Took everything with it, as in everything pumped with it, including crypto, which I guess is a pretty good sign. Nothing like too ugly. There's no strong bearish divergence. I mean, it's not, obviously can't validate yet, but it's just nothing really that bad. The next target, more likely because it's close to it, is the 200-day. But it's still in like no man's land, all right? And there's not really nothing you can do in these types of areas. I still look at stuff like Tesla, and I still think that this stuff has not bottomed. And whilst it might be at support and it might have stuff like really nice bull dips, so it probably will bounce, I just don't believe something that went so parabolic and is now distributing. See how it's rounding? It's distributing. I don't believe the dump is over for something like this, and as well as other companies such as Apple. And what's important about stuff like this, even though it's pumped, is if these equities did, macro top for a couple of months or years, which is, I think, the most likely scenario, then it's very hard for crypto to justify a bottom yet. And, that's why I circled here, because I thought, well, I'm not just thinking, it's just more likely that from here, or maybe even from here, the overall target for Apple will be the 200 week. Anyways, I don't want to get too much into stocks right now. I'm just going to give you the conclusion, and that's... Actually, you know what? This is very important. I'm just going to go to total too, because I want to show you something very weird with alts. So, alts, strangely enough, which is, you have to look at total too for that, actually respected exactly the 2017 support very nicely here on the log chart. Now it's above the 200 week moving average. That's very interesting, because if the weekly closes here or even higher, which is better, you can definitely argue for, alt rallies. If we cut the 200 week and the support, you can definitely argue for shorts. And because we're still in a bear market until told otherwise, until there's evidence of otherwise, then you can definitely still short alts below this support. I mean, you have to remember, if you might not have been here in 2017 and before that, but alts that are down 80-90% can go down another 80 and 90%. In fact, they probably have to. So we'll keep an eye on that, and this is definitely a good thing. So let's keep an eye on this weekly close. I'll update you on Twitter. And yeah, that's all I can say. Right now, I'm just waiting for the FTT stuff to blow over, at least to give us some definite answer. I want to keep my eyes open for any contagion, and you should too. Again, Twitter is the best place, because that's where you'll get all like the most freshest information, especially if you follow the right people. I try to do what I can, but there's a lot of people who get really fresh information, so just stay on there. And yeah, good luck out there. If you blew up, or if you don't have much left, or if you had your funds on FTX, I do feel for you. I've been through this stuff. I had some funds on FTX as well. I just want to say, the Ponzi scheme will always come back. It will always come back as long as there's greed and euphoria and human behavior is the same, which is it always is. The cycles will always come back. People love it. They need it. They want it. And yeah, no matter what happens, the opportunity to make it big will always come back. And now you're with us, and you're here to buy when the coins will be really, really cheap. And the new cycle of 18, 17-year-olds or whatever it will be, they'll pump your coins, and then you'll know when to sell. So that's all I can say. Anyways, hope you enjoyed it. Bye-bye.